everyone. Welcome to episode 53 of the Stop, Drop, and Knit podcast. My name is Lisa. I am coming to you from Long Island, New York. Still in the same location, but in a slightly different placement on the deck back here because of the way that the sun is this morning. There was absolutely no shade in my usual spot and the lighting was pretty awful, so I am trying just a different spot. I think this might actually be the very last podcast that I record from this particular house, this particular location. We have started the process of moving into our new apartment. It's going to be still a few weeks before we're really set up over there. We are in a very small space, and so we are gradually purchasing different furniture from IKEA, because IKEA is like the king of small spaces, right? So we're just kind of waiting for different things to be back in stock and, you know, just get everything kind of sorted out. It's going to be a little bit of a work in progress, but we are very excited. And yeah, so it's a gorgeous day. It is a Friday. I should be at work right now, but unfortunately, there has been another COVID outbreak at my school. Actually, this is the first COVID outbreak at my school since the whole entire pandemic started. So we went back onto Zoom this week, which is not fun. I was really glad to have Zoom flute lessons behind me, but that's where we are again. And we're just in the final few weeks of the semester too, so it's a crazy season of recitals, and yeah, so having to go back online for the students to do their recitals is pretty disappointing, but hopefully we'll be back in person within another couple of weeks. And yeah, we're just hanging in there doing the best that we can. But unfortunately, all of my students are sick, or half of them are sick, and so I actually ended up with a free day today, which I'm taking advantage of to do this podcast for you, because it has been so busy packing up everything and moving over into the new place. Actually, I've just been mostly here packing boxes, and my husband has been bringing them over to the new place. But there's so much stuff, and I haven't even started packing up my yarn yet. I did pack my knitting books, and that was like 4 or 5 boxes alone. And my yarn, yeah, I don't even know where it's all gonna go. I kind of saved that for the end because it's like the thing that I don't want to put in boxes. But I'm going to be starting that process today because most everything else is already packed up. So it's time to deal with the huge yarn stash. So that'll be interesting. Yeah, so it's been a kind of a crazy few weeks between being back on Zoom, which honestly, that coinciding with moving is kind of been convenient timing for getting things packed up and everything. But you know, obviously I feel bad for my students who are sick, and I feel bad that, you know, for myself who is not happy teaching on Zoom. I much prefer to be in person with them. So yeah, hopefully this will all pass quickly, and in the meantime we're just gonna do the best that we can. But you guys are here to hear about all the knitting. I'm not really sure how much new stuff I have to share with you guys today, but because of having the opportunity to record today, and next week we're going to be out of town going to my sister-in-law's graduation in North Carolina and moving, I figured if I did not record a podcast today and get one up for you guys this weekend, it probably was not going to happen for another few weeks. So I just wanted to sit down and chat with you guys again and share it all with you, even if there's not that much new stuff to share. That being said, I did actually do some natural dyeing this past week, which I was not planning to do. So I do have a natural dye segment back for the end of this video. And I think there's a little spinning today. There's a couple of acquisitions. And of course, there's all my spring whips that I have been working on. So let's jump into it with what am I wearing So it is the perfect weather again today for me to pull out my worsted Boxy, and it is so comfortable. I mean, this is the perfect sweater, not just for the weather, but for packing boxes, which is what I'm doing. It is so comfortable. I've mostly just been wearing sweats these past couple of days, but I threw on my worsted Boxy today, and this is actually even more comfortable than my sweats. So I'm really glad that I stuck this on. But this is what it looks like, sort of. I can't really back up, but I knit this out of Malabrigo Rios, which is the recommended yarn for the pattern, and the color is called Va, V-A-A, and I just love this thing. I think I knit the medium, which honestly doesn't affect anything except the sleeve circumference. So basically you knit the whole body of the sweater, and it's like either size, extra small, small, or medium. And then when you're done with that, you just choose what your sleeve circumference is, and that's really where the sizing comes into effect the most. So yeah, super comfortable. This weather, we're not really in spring yet. It's still very chilly. We've still been in the 40s and 50s mostly here. So I'm eager to get into my spring knits, but it hasn't really been warm enough to wear them that often yet. So I do not have any finished objects today, but I have a half finished object. So let's go into whips. We'll start with my half finished object, and then we'll just continue on into the rest of my spring knitting projects from there. So I finished one sock. That's it. I have been so busy, you guys. I have been knitting, but not at the rate that I usually do. But I do have one sock finished, and it is this really fun, bright, pastel neon colored rainbow sock. And I used the Magic Heel knitting pattern. So the heel is actually just some ribbing, and there's no heel shaping or anything. This is a pattern by, I forget her name, but she is from the Autumn Acorn podcast. I'll insert her name there. And basically there's no heel turning whatsoever. It's just a little bit of ribbing in this area so that your heel, it stretches around your heel, which is a really innovative design and super simple for anybody who is intimidated to knit their first sock and turn a heel. That's my most fun part for me. I love that part. So, but I wanted to try something different just because I just tend to knit the same socks over and over and over again. And I wanted something mindless, but I wanted something just a little bit different than my typical regular sock patterns that I do. I choose between like 2 or 3 patterns usually. So this sock fits pretty well. I think after this pair, what I would do differently is I would actually knit the heel starting a bit sooner than I did, because for some reason it's sitting pretty high up on my leg, and then this isn't as stretchy as, I mean, I did the same exact cast on that I do for all of my other socks, and it's never been a problem. So I think that the reason why it's fitting tight around my calf is because of starting the heel placement too low, but I didn't really know like where was the best place to do that. And then I would probably actually also knit the foot a little bit longer too. So I would probably knit the leg part shorter, start the heel sooner, and then actually knit a little bit longer of a foot. And I think that that would be a little bit more comfortable on my foot. The stuff fits fine. It's just a little bit snug at the top. Yeah, so these, I could see these being really great for gift socks, but even knitting one for myself, I thought that I knew where to place everything, and it just, there could be a better fit. It fits, but it could be better. So I'm not really sure how it would work for gift knitting and guessing all of those things. I don't know. I guess maybe if you had a general idea of what the foot size was, you could estimate a little bit. But I am still planning to try this kind of sock pattern out for Owen next when I pick up another pair of socks for him. So I have started the second sock, not very far into it. Oh no, and all of my stitches, I just pulled the needle out. At least I'm not too far into it. I just pulled, look at that, you guys. I just pulled my needle completely out. I think I'll just start this over because we're only not even through the ribbing yet. I mean, I could try to get this needle back in there. Ugh, so frustrating. Oh well. Anyway, whoops. This is what the yarn looks like all caked up. It is really pretty. This is Knitterly Things yarn. It is called Sometimes in April, and this is actually from Pretty Deep Stash. This was a colorway she did back in 2018, and it is on her Glitterful sock yarn base, which is a 75% superwash wool, 20% nylon, and 5% stellina. So that is what I am using, and now I have to deal with putting the needle back in there. We'll do that right now really quick before I continue. So I'm gonna pause, you guys, fix this situation, and then we'll move on to my next project. Okay, we are back in business. That only took like 30 seconds to fix. Super easy, but yeah, let's get that back on the actual cord there. Okay, so my next whip is in my favorite project bag. I would love to own like 30 of these bags. I only own one, but this is my Hide and Hammer bag. I picked this up from Brooklyn General last winter when I went and did the interview over there. It's really fun. It's kind of like functions like a brown paper lunch bag. Like it rolls down, and then you can open it up and fold it over like this, and I just love this. So what is in here? The never-ending project, you guys. Oh my gosh. All right, so what is in here? This is gonna be a little awkward to show you, I think, but it is my Modernist cardi. I love this thing so much. All right, we are scrunched up on this big needle now. So let me get this situated in a way that you guys can understand. I think I'm gonna show you the back of it. Okay, so this is the back view of my Modernist cardi. So it'll actually sit, I've got armholes now, but I'm afraid to put my arms through, but you can see I have armholes. Right here is one. Maybe it'll work. Let's see. There is one armhole and another one somewhere. Here it is. Aha! We are in the sweater, you guys. This is awkward. But oh my gosh. All right, there we go. There we go. Thankfully my cord is long enough. Yeah, so I can actually kind of show this to you guys as it is knitting up now. So this is the yarn that I am using. Oops, there we go. This is a little bit, should probably, the sun is a little, there we go. This is the yarn that I'm using. This is Wonderland Yarns Color Burst yarn. It is on their Cheshire Cat base, and this is their Splashing Through Puddles colorway, which I think is number 15, maybe? I don't know. I can tell you. Hold on. It is 19, colorway number 19, Splashing Through Puddles, and it looks like this in the skein. It is so fun. I am now into my second of 3 skeins, and all right, let me back up the camera for a minute. I want to see, because I can't back up because I will fall down the steps. That would not be good. I almost just backed myself up. You guys don't want to see me like break my neck. So, all right, this is what it is looking like so far. So I'm gonna try to turn around here a little bit. So the back what I did was I picked up the stitches from here, right? See that line right there? And I have actually put so much knitting into this project. So, all right. Turning back around so that you guys can actually hear my voice. So, all right, there we go. Yeah, so I picked up, and then I had to do a lot of armhole increases. I'm gonna take this off because it's a little hard to show you, but I did want you guys to see how it is, how it's working so far. I'm a little tangled, that is okay. All right. Yeah, so last time I had just barely picked up the stitches from the back, and now we're knitting down. So I was about here last time. So I have done so many inches of work. These rows are like 300 and something stitches long. Like, it's so many stitches. But basically, I had done all of the increases to get the shoulder shaping over here. And on the other side as well. So it's you know, it's going around this way, and it's an oversized cardigan, so it's very boxy. And you guys, the reason why this is going to take forever now, and why it is taking forever, is because we're knitting flat and not in the round. So every other row is a purl row, and it's just hundreds of stitches, and it's just really slow. And I don't mind doing it, but I feel like I'm making very little progress because I've been knitting on this project so much, and I don't know, I feel like I don't have that much more to show for it. But I mean, I do have armholes, right? And I still have several more inches to knit, like probably, I think it's like a certain amount of rows. I think I'm about 16 rows into 62, I think is what I'm supposed to do for the recommended length, and then you can adjust it longer if you want to from there. And then there's still ribbing. So basically I'm on body island with this. I think the sleeves are going to go really quickly because the sleeves should be in the round. But yeah, body island is just, it's a very long island. It's very long. I am from Long Island. Yeah, it's long. It's taking forever. So I mentioned that I'm going to be traveling next week. And so I am imagining that this is going to make for a very productive car knitting project on our way driving down to North Carolina and back up. So I'm hoping, this is what I'm planning to like focus my energy on in the car, is just this long stockinette section. This long flat stockinette section, not in the round. So I don't mind purling, but it is very slow because this is not only is this fingering weight yarn, but this is a light fingering weight yarn. So, you know, it's at a really small gauge and it's just slow. But every time I put this on and next to you guys see how lovely this looks with my eyes? This is going to look so amazing. I love it so much. Like, these are my colors. I fell in love with this yarn when I saw it. I should say that Wonderland Yarns provided this yarn for me. I am a brand ambassador for them. So every so often when I am done working my way through a project, I can request yarn for a new one. This yarn, I think they sent me around October. This project is going very slowly. But we are getting there, and I'm really excited because I am absolutely in love with this yarn and this sweater, and it's going to be amazing if it ever actually gets done. So that's what a lot of my knitting time has been going to this week. I have 2 other projects to share as well. Okay, both of my next 2 projects are camping out in this Joji & Co. bag. This is a bag that I actually won. I never win anything. But if you guys watched any of my Vlogmas videos, actually the very first one is the one where I won this bag. I went over in November. We went over to the Long Island Yarn and Farm open house. They do every year in November before Christmas. And if you buy yarn from her shop, for like every $10 or whatever, you get a raffle ticket to put in like whatever bag you want. And so my husband bought me my Christmas present there, and so he got like 20 something raffle tickets, and he put them all in the Joji & Co. bag so that I would have the best chance at winning it, and it totally worked. And now I have this really fun leather, shiny pink, glittery pink leather bag. And yeah, I have two. I also had one, I still have this in here, I'm not using this yet, but it also came, the bag came with this spin cycle yarn in the color Unicorn, so that was really cool. This pocket in the front fits my pom-pom magazine, so let's take that out because that's the first project I'm going to show you. And I am actually knitting the cover design, which is Effervescent by Aimee Sher. And let me get it out. So this is a little bit less exciting, but this is the bag that the yarn came in, and I've just been keeping it in there. So I don't know how much more progress I have actually made on this design since last time, but the yarn that I'm using came out of the label. That's okay. It is the Wandering Flock, which is the same yarn that Aimee used in the design, but this is a different colorway. This is the Cosmic Tie-Dye colorway, and it is so fun. And then I have a coordinating mohair version of the same yarn because the ruffle is knit in mohair. So I've got that. I think that's the very last part of the process. So we're a little tangled up here because I just shoved it all in my bag. Here we go. So this is what it looks like caked up. I am alternating skeins now. This one is smaller because I just did the ribbing without alternating skeins, and then once I got past the ribbing into the main body, I started alternating. So this is what it looks like. It's so beautiful. And then I'm only a few inches in, and so this is knit in the round from the bottom up. So, and it is ew, there was a bug on me. A mosquito was just on me. Gross. All right. I didn't know it was mosquito season yet. All right. Anyway, it's rolling because of the cord, but I have gotten this much done so far. So it's bottom up. I've gotten like 2 inches of ribbing done and another probably 2 inches now on the body. And so this is also going to take a while. This is also going to be one that I am going to be working on in the car during my trip. I just haven't had a lot of knitting time because of, having to pack up all of the things to move into a new place. So it's just, I have been knitting, but just not quite at the rate that I normally do. But I think it's a little further than it was last time. So it is so pretty. So I'm really excited about this one. I just really want to get back to it. So it's like this moving process can't end soon enough, but it's still going to be a little while. Oh my goodness. So that is the status of my Effervescent tee. Not too much to show you guys. But again, I figured I should catch up with you guys. It's already been 2 weeks. By the time I put this episode out, it will have been 2 weeks since my last podcast. And I know that with going out of town and getting into the apartment, it's going to be another couple weeks before I actually have a chance to sit down and record. So I figured it was like today or not for quite a while. So hopefully you don't mind seeing the same things as last time in kind of similar stages. But I did make more, actually much more progress on my souffle tea. So, okay, this I had just started last podcast. I had only just really cast on a little bit. And it's like really hard to show you what I have done. This one is knit top down. And now the neckline is going to have, I think, an I-cord edging on it, which is going to pull it in. Right now the neckline is quite large. I'm afraid I don't want it to come off the needles. So, but that's, the back is where my needles are. So this is like the front. And so I'm still on the yoke, but now I have started with adding the second strand to it. So the whole top of the yoke, I will insert a picture so you guys can actually picture what this blob of beautiful mohair is going to look like. It is sheer on the top, so it is knit with just a single strand at the yoke, and then there will be a ruffle, which I have done. There's a purl bump row. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but there is a purl bump row, which is where I added the second strand, and so that's for the ruffle placement. And then the whole rest of it is knit held double. So I've got two strands held together. So the rest of it will not be sheer. Still very lightweight, but not sheer. And it's just impossible to show you guys what this is looking like. I'm not quite to the sleeve split. Is that what it's called? The split for the armholes. You know what I mean? Like where you split to do the arm shaping. I'm not quite there yet, but I am also not too far off from that point. So I was hoping to get at least that far before showing you guys this project, but I've just been focusing again on packing and not so much on knitting. So this has gained probably 2 or 3 inches since I showed you last time. But, you know, I mean, it's been 2 weeks. I should really have it further down. But I don't know how well you can see. I've knit maybe 1/2 inch with the 2 strands held together over here. So I don't know if you guys can really see a difference yet in what the fabric is going to look like. I think it's kind of hard to tell right now. But, and then the back of it here, there's going to be a keyhole. Let's see. So this is going to form like a keyhole opening. So there'll be like a little button and a loop at the top back right there. So it is a super sweet sweater, and I really wish I could be done packing boxes so I can just sit down and have time to knit all the things I want to knit. Grrr. All right, so that is all the knitting projects, I think. I do not have my knitworthy segment this week. I was planning on having that zombie fish knit up, or at least started, and then I still have to wind the yarn. I just haven't made any progress on that whatsoever. So yeah, so that one is being held off for a little bit, but I am still going to knit my son the zombie fish. I think we should move on to spinning. I have a little spinning to share with you, and I still have natural dyeing and a little bit of fun acquisitions. So I have actually been spinning quite a bit, but I don't have like that much different spinning to share with you guys, because I was hoping, I've been trying to finish up spinning my way through the fall colorways that I had started, and so that's what I've been focusing on. So what I've been working on since the last episode was working on my sweater weather yarn. And so this is a yarn that Frabjous Fibers, which is part of Wonderland Yarns, sent to me back in October. This was their limited edition fall colorway. And this one is Polworth and silk together, and it is absolutely gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. I think this is maybe my favorite fiber so far to spin. And this is what it looks like. This is my very last amount of it that I still have to spin up. So I had divided the braid into 4 equal parts, and so I have basically worked through 3 of them now. So I have another, here we go, on this side. I think you can see it. Maybe I can get, there we go. That's a little bit less sunlight on it there. So this is what it's looking like right now. And I will show you also, so I have some singles that are just waiting to be spun with the one that's on the singles now, plus this little bit left. And I had already taken the plunge and plied a couple of singles together, and so this is what I showed you guys last time. And so this, I still haven't wet finished it, but it's so pretty. I'll open it again and show you guys. I think I said it is about like 130 yards so far, like approximately. And so this is what that looks like. It's like an autumn sunset. It's kind of what I'm getting from these colors. It is so pretty. So yeah, I want to finish spinning my way through this yarn before I spin my new spring yarn that I showed you guys last time that I'm so excited about, because I actually would really like to be able to knit with this in the fall. And that didn't work. That did not work. All right, let's try that again. Sometimes I wind these really well, and then other times I don't. So yeah, I've got like this cute little skate. It's kind of awkward still, but that is okay. Yeah, so I think I would like to be able to knit with this in the fall this year. So as much as I want to just start spinning the spring yarns, I do want to finish this particular yarn completely so that it is ready to go for the fall, because I think it's going to make a really beautiful fall project. And I don't know how much I'm going to have, so I don't know what it's going to be yet, but I love fall colors and these are so pretty. So yeah, so I only have this much left to go, and I have been working on it here and there. So that is all I have to share for spinning today. I did some natural dyeing, so it's been a while. It has been a while since I have shared natural dyeing with you guys, so let's go on into my natural dyeing segment. So I think what's really funny about this particular natural dyeing segment is that right after I finished filming the last podcast episode where I said, I'm not going to do any natural dyeing until we are settled in our new place. Actually, I went to pick up my son from the bus stop 30 minutes after I finished filming that podcast, and I noticed all the dandelions popping up. And so actually that afternoon when Owen got home from school, we went and we picked a bunch of dandelions, and that night I got right to dyeing with the dandelions because they come up, all of these things are seasonal, and if I had waited until we were in the new place, I was pretty much going to miss the dandelions because people pull them and get rid of them and whatever. So these are my 2022 dandelion dyed yarns. I love how these came out. I did this on a new base, one that I have not done with the dandelions before. So this base is it's a fingering weight, and it is 50% recycled wool and 50% tencel. And so this is a base I am going to be having in my shop. I don't have that much of it, and I don't have that much yarn dyed up on that base yet. But at some point, I really like this base a lot, and it gives it kind of a little bit of a sheen that I'm not really sure. I think the tencel in it makes it a little bit shiny, and depending on what you're dyeing with, it can have a little bit of a heathered look that is really nice. So I really like how this dandelion yarn came out this year. I only picked enough to do these 2 skeins, so it's just these 2 for this season. I have been dyeing with dandelions for 4 years now, actually. It was the very first foraged material that I used was dandelions. I think prior to the dandelions, I had used things from the kitchen, mostly like my very first experiment was with red cabbage, which is not a color fast dye. And I also did avocado, and I also did black beans, also not a color fast dye, which just means that the color will fade much more quickly when exposed to things like washing and natural light. But yeah, the first foraged yarn that I ever did was dandelions, also from our yard here. So this was actually just from like all like the outside of everybody's houses around the block, because we just took a little circle around the block and just picked from the edge of the street, from the curb, what we saw. And then as soon as we picked them, there were like a million more the next day, because we were just at the very start of dandelion season. So that was really fun. For 4 years now, every single year, Owen has helped me pick dandelions. Every year he gets a little bit less helpful than the previous year. I think, let's see, he's 7 now, so the first time we did it, he would have been 4. And he was very helpful as a 4-year-old. He was very enthusiastic to help mommy pick dandelions. Then when he was 5, he was still pretty enthusiastic, but got a little bit bored a little bit more quickly. Last year, he helped, but he mostly made me pick them all. So he kept me company more than he was really helpful. And this year, like, we took one little up and down the block, and he's like, I'm done. I don't feel like doing this anymore. I want to go play my video games. So yeah, as he gets older, he gets less enthusiastic, but hopefully I can keep him involved this summer, because I don't know, it's something that we really like. I really like doing with him and involving him in the foraging process, especially getting him out in nature is really fun. So yeah, so this is my very first 2022 foraged yarn dyeing project, but that's not all that I dyed with. You guys, I have a ton of mushrooms that I had foraged like all through the last 6 months or so. And they are like taking up some serious freezer space. And I now have a dehydrator that I got for Christmas. I have not used it yet, but when I foraged for all of these mushrooms, I did not yet have a dehydrator. So I've had to freeze them all, and we're moving now. So I have to kind of decide what to do with them. We have a very small freezer, and my husband is not really enthusiastic about me just moving all of the mushrooms into the freezer in our new place, because we had an extra freezer in the basement here, so it wasn't like mixed in with our regular food. And so, he doesn't really want me mixing it because they're kind of stinky. Not really something that you want your whole food to be smelling like foraged mushrooms that are not edible, right? So I've been trying to, I'm starting to try to work my way through at least some of it, because I don't want to have to toss it, and it's not really convenient to move it over to the new place. So I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with all of it. So I'm going to dye what I can as I can, but I did dye 2 skeins. So I've got this strange color. I don't really know what to call this color. So what I used, I don't remember the scientific name, but I will insert it on the screen here. But it's like easy name. His common name is cracked cracked cat mushrooms. Is that right? I just had it and it just escaped my mind as soon as I went to spit it out. I think it's called like cracked cat polypore. Maybe that's what it is. And it's one of those like shelf mushrooms that they grow on like the sides of trees, and they're very hard. So it's technically kind of like a bracket mushroom. So I'll try to insert some pictures if I can find some good examples. But I had a whole bunch of this, and I used alum as my mordant. And according to my book, I'll link my book in the description box below. I think it's called Mushrooms for Color, something like that. And it's about dyeing with mushrooms by Miriam Rice. Or Arleen Bessette actually is the one that did this book. Miriam Rice is the one that came up with the process of dyeing with mushrooms. So according to the book, you're supposed to get an orange color when you use alum as a mordant with this mushroom. And then if you used like nothing or iron or something, you're gonna get more of like a brown. So yeah, I think it's kind of orange. I mean, held next to the dandelion, I think it kind of looks like orange, right? But I mean, I wouldn't look at it and say, oh, that's orange, right? I would say it's kind of, I don't even know what to call it. An orange-ish brown? I don't really know. I don't know what color to call it, but it's on the orange side of brown. Like, it's definitely not brown. You wouldn't really look at it and say brown, but it's also not orange. You wouldn't look at it and say that's orange. It's kind of somewhere in there. I think it's a nice color. Again, I did this on the same base. So this is 50% recycled wool and 50% tencel. And so this is all the natural dyeing that I did this week, which is not a lot, but it's a lot considering I said I wasn't going to be doing any natural dyeing, right? So I'm pretty excited to have that to share with you guys. So yeah, let's move on to the final segment, which is acquisitions. I have just a little bit. Again, I don't know how it happens, just a little bit. Susan B. Andersen does me in every stinking time. Every time. This time it was for her Good Bear kit. So here is a little sketch on the tag. I will insert pictures. It's so cute. She makes the cutest animal patterns. I have yet to knit one up. That's not true because I have knit some that I have done as gifts for other people, but I've not actually knit any of the kits that I have procured. I have knit up some patterns of hers in yarn that I already had, but I keep buying these kits because they're so cute. I can't help it. So, oh my gosh, she gives you all of the things. So let me show you. I actually just opened this now. I haven't even looked at it yet. So she gives you, I won't show you the code, but she gives you a download code for the pattern. You can just buy the pattern, by the way. You do not have to buy the kit. But what I like about buying the kit is you get all of the colors, just enough to make the thing. Plus you can opt to have the cute little buttons that she uses. Buttons, I don't buy buttons, right? So I buy them when they come with her kits because then I don't have to go searching for buttons when I'm done knitting the projects that I never get around to actually knitting up. And then she also gives you a little bag of the things that you need, like for the eyes. There's the eyes are in here, plus, you know, the other little bits of yarn to use. So it's just all right here. And I love her wool. Her wool is to die for amazing. Look at these colors. So she is Barrett Wool Co. She's got all kinds of kits. They come into stock at different times. And so there were 2 different color options. I got the one to knit the black bear, but there was also a brown bear version, but I really liked the dark gray for the black bear. These colors are so pretty. They're so nice. So I did that. So that was my one acquisition. And then the other one I actually just got today. It was really funny because I was wondering where was my Knitterly Things sock club subscription for March. It usually comes at the beginning of the month. So for the beginning of April, I would get the March, because during the month she dies for that month, and then she sends it out at the end of the month, so you receive it at the start of the next month, right? So usually early in the month, I get in my P.O. box, I get a shipment from Miss Julia, and it never came this time, which I thought was strange, which she thought was strange too, because when I finally messaged her earlier this week, end of last week, less than a week ago, I think, a week ago maybe, I was like, I really don't think that this one ever came. I'm moving. I haven't really packed my yarn yet, but I can't find it. I found January, I found February. I don't think that I ever got March. And it turned out that she had changed her shipping, because I guess at Etsy or PayPal or her website that she uses, she's not on Etsy, it's her own website. They had to change her shipping character. So she's like, I know that I made a label for you because I have been making a label for you every month for forever, because I've been subscribing to her clubs for years, easily 4 years, right? Because I just pulled out something from 2018 and now we're in 2022. So for years. She's like, but according to Stamps.com, I did not print you out a label. So she sent me my package, and I think she included something extra, she said, which she totally did not have to do. And I just picked it up from the post office. And so I have not opened it yet. So I'm excited. We're all gonna see together. So, of course I didn't bring scissors out here. So let's see. I might have to run in and get scissors. Nope, I can get the tape. Okay, so I've got yarn. And I've got yarn. I've got 3 skeins, so normally I get 2 skeins. So I have no idea which one of these 3 is the extra one. I won't know until we open it. So I'm gonna open this one first. So I subscribe to both of Julia's sock clubs. There's one that only opens in January for the whole year, so I signed up for that. And then there's her regular sock yarn club that opens every 3 months to sign up. So it opens 4 times a year, I guess, right? So quarterly signups. So this one is one of the March colorways. This one is called Roundabout, and it is on her 75% superwash merino, 23% nylon, and 2% stellina. These are fun colors. So I opt to have minis included. Sometimes I use them in the sock project, and sometimes I just pull them for something different, but it's nice to have those on hand, to have the option. Those are some really pretty colors. There's like, it's interesting, it's peach and turquoise, and then a purplish, and then like a mustard yellow, and a tan, and a brown. It's like all kinds of different colors there. And then plus this green mini. There's that one. So much tissue paper. All right, now we're gonna do this one, because this one feels like it has a mini. So I think this is the other March club. Ooh, well, that is pretty. Yeah, this is the March from her remix club. So this is the one that you can only sign up for in January, I think. And this one is called Stormy Remix. I love this one. Oh my goodness. So this one is 75% superwash wool and 25% nylon. Look at those colors. I really like this one. Mini especially. I really like that mini too. These are some gorgeous colors. So pretty. So these were her two, these were the two March yarns side by side. Those are really fun. And then let's see what this extra thing is. She said it was a brand new something. I'm excited. She didn't have to do that. It's not like I'm short on sock yarn to knit. Ooh, well, this is pretty. Chickadee, that is so cute. And this is on a different base. This is 80% superwash merino and 20% nylon. Look at these colors. That's really pretty. Look at those colors. Oh, this is kind of a mix of really earthy greens and browns, and then a mix of some brighter blues and greens and purples. Chickadee, you know, so you get like, that's like a type of bird, right? So it's kind of got like the tree colors with the greens and the browns, and then it's got some really bright, fun spring colors. That's so nice. That's Julia. Thank you for including this. That was really sweet. You did not have to do that. So yeah, these are my 3 new sock yarns. So that is super fun. Thank you, Julia. Always a pleasure to open those. And guys, that brings me to the end of, I think, my very final podcast episode at my childhood home. This is gonna be weird. I'm pretty sure next time I will be recording from the new location. Probably not like put together and set up yet, but from the new spot, I think. I think this is the last one here, which is kind of weird, but exciting. So I noticed that I had a whole bunch of new people subscribe to my channel lately. So thank you so much. If you are new here, welcome. I hope you are enjoying the content. Thank you for subscribing, and don't forget to leave me a comment. I will eventually comment back. Things have just been busy with the move right now. So if you've been leaving me a comment and I have not yet replied, I will as soon as I have a chance to sit down and do that. But I do love interacting with all of you guys and getting to know you better. So if you feel inspired to leave me a little comment, I would really look forward to that. Have an amazing couple of weeks. I will see you guys, I don't know exactly when, but as soon as I feel like I have a chance to sit down, and hopefully with more progress on my projects. I am still planning, for those of you that live in the DC area, I am going to be driving through Fiberspace on Mother's Day and making a quick little Mother's Day stop there. I think they're open 12 to 6 that day, so probably on the earlier end of that, since we'll be driving back to New York. So if any of you guys are in that area and want to maybe say hi, swing into Fiberspace that day. I'll try to post on stories on Instagram around the time that we're going to be there once I know. But alrighty, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.